especially these pneumatic systems, they can actually operate as what are called impedance control mechanisms, where they can actually clamp someone's movements in a given range of motion.
Hey everyone, my name is Dr. Nick Halsey with Motus Nova. I'm a licensed neurophysical therapist and neuroscientist helping brain injury survivors understand how to make functional gains after their injury. I hope this video helps you in your recovery.
Very good. And I think what we can do is we can actually go ahead and do, I think you guys have the Motus hand on the right side. Is that correct right now?
Yes, that's right.
Perfect. Well, let's go ahead and actually just figure out what our values are for the right side. And then we can go from there. Let's see. Actually, did you guys happen to go through and share the screen and all that?
It is shared, I believe.
Okay.
I'll check in meeting again.
Okay.
I think we're shared. I'm seeing the infinite Zoom, so I'm assuming that we're shared.
Yeah. Let me make sure that I have the right.
But if you need us to point a camera at every meeting.
Yeah.
Some fiddling.
Let me just try to see if we are connected here. You may hear the pump turn on.
Okay. I don't know if this matters, but the last couple of days we've been doing it on the right hand, just to see if we could gather data, and then the first 4 or so days we were doing it on the left hand.
Okay.
We went through the assessments, but I don't know if that's actually helpful or not. But
Gotcha.
It's hard to tell the settings.
Let's see.
Hi, Hum.
Just a moment. There we go. Okie dokie. So it looks like we are good to go there. Let me do that.
你可以听得懂他说的东西，差不多。他用的字有点太快。
There we go. Okie dokie. Good. So let me know if at any point you start to get some stretch in that hand. Okay. It shouldn't be uncomfortable, but let me know if at any point it becomes like a stretch. And we'll just walk through this really quickly just to figure out.
你懂他在讲什么？你感觉有 stretch。
你那个没有电脑，
说没电，
你这个
哦，没问题。He has pretty good range of motion, so I imagine it'll be a little bit before he gets stretch.
Keep going up here. Very good.
So, man, do you feel stretch?
So the maximum numbers there, I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look at this, but this is our assessment tables. This is the live angle on the left-hand side is where that value is right now. Mm-hmm. And the assistance percentage is a percentage, so it goes from 0 to 100. And so the maximum value that we will get on those ranges of motion is about 55 degrees.
Gotcha.
So we're very close to that. So Stanley, you're doing a very good job. We'll keep going there. Still doing okay? No discomfort?
No.
Okay. Beautiful. So less than 80%, and we're almost all the way up. Very good. I'm going to take out the assistance now. And then what I'd like you to do, Stan, like as the pressure goes out, I like you to press down as far as you can go for me. Perfect. Very good. And now from here, I'd like you to try to move up as far as you can go. Beautiful.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Beautiful. Really good movement.
Very good.
Okay. And then relax for me and go down.
All the way down.
Perfect. So I'm going to take some notes here, make sure we get these values for your right side. So yeah, I think you're exactly right. I didn't see a whole lot of evidence of any tone or spasticity. First of all, no evidence of spasticity for sure.
Yeah.
And you know, tone looked normal. I didn't see any undue increase in resistance to movement there when I was looking at the data come through.
Okay.
Active range of motion, really good. You just have a little bit at the top end, but I'm going to put a little bit of assistance in here and we can kind of see if we can amplify that. So Sam, like, go ahead and try to move up for me again, as far as you can go. So we got to around 52 or so. Let's see if we can keep going. How far can you go? How far can you go?
Yeah, we've been having this thing where with the assistance, he's been moving less. It's kind of resistive.
Yeah.
Can you go high?
So it can act as a damp in both ways. So it can actually, what's technically called, I don't know if you're familiar, actually, John, is it Jonathan or John? What would you prefer to go by?
Either one is fine.
Okay. What would you, what's your background? Any sort of insight into robotics or these sort of things, control systems?
A little bit, not really.
Okay.
Enough to know the terms, but not an expert by any means.
Sure. Yeah. So there's in terms of human robotic interfaces, there's ways in which robotics can, especially these pneumatic systems, they can actually operate as what are called impedance control mechanisms, where they can actually clamp someone's movements in a given range of motion. And they can also work as a, well, the way to kind of think about this is if you're trying to walk on a straight line, an easy way for me to do this is to push walls very, very close together, and you have to walk through those walls. That's what a robotic system and a pneumatic can kind of do. Alternatively, if we are walking down that hallway and wanted you to turn left, we can kind of give you some more leeway on the left-hand side for you to move into that range. So the robotic system can operate in multiple different ways to either amplify or accentuate movements in certain areas. It can also try to resist you in certain ways to prevent you from moving in places we don't want you to move. So yeah, the resistance can often have a bit of a counter counterintuitive way to help. So very good there. So one thing I would actually like to do is let's try it one more time. I'll try to have you go up as far as you can for me.
Up, go up as far as you can.
Very good. Okay. Now I'm actually going to check how much strength there is. Put about 50%. Okay. Very good. Now I'm going to have you go down into flexion as far as you can go. Good.
Keep going, keep going. Hard as you can. Good. Good.
Very good. And then relax. And now come up as far as you can go for me, as far as you can go up. Yeah, it's acting as that clamp in that situation. Very good. Okay, good. So I don't know if you guys want, I don't know how quickly you can change over, but we could certainly change over hands and do a quick assessment that way if you'd like.
Okay. Yes, it will take a little bit, but we will try.
Okay. This will give me a chance here to kind of take these settings in and make sure that we can reference.
Hey, if you're finding this video helpful, please hit like and subscribe to help other brain injury survivors learn how Motus Nova is changing neuro rehab.
Is it okay if he can't access the console right now?
Yeah, that's fine for right now. For the purposes of assessment, I think that's totally fine.
Is there a way to drop the resistance? Make it a little harder to put it on.
Oh, yes. I apologize. Should be going off?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and just for you guys, for instance, you can always press those plus or minuses.
Gotcha.
And the 0 button will do that as well.
Perfect. I will keep that in mind. Thank you. I always feel a little bit unsure whether I'm putting this on correctly, to be honest. But
What makes you feel unsure about it?
just whether we're getting the spacing right, and whether I'm, like positioning it well. And then sometimes it kind of slips off the hand. Although that might just be a timing. I think we're getting it better, but
Okay.
always a little bit unsure. And then on the backside, like kind of not wanting to hit his arm, but
Sure.
it's like not long enough to extend off the elbow, but it's a little bit too
Yeah,
long.
it's totally fine that it goes off a little bit. That's fine. And that's why we actually like it to be sort of in that neutral posture where it can actually have free range to go off however long you need it to be.
Gotcha. I don't know if you can. Okay, kind of. It's fine. Cool. Okay, I think we're set up.
You're good to go? Okay, good. So let's just take a quick second here. Okay, very good. So let's go ahead and basically redo all of those things we just did. So let's have you move down as far as you can. Good. And then as far up as you can for me.
As far up.
Great. So then we'll check some tone. Actually, I think you have more range in the left side, to be honest.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, okay. Good. So let's go ahead. So just relax for me. We'll check the tone. Did I hit it? Let's see here. There we go. Okay. So we'll slowly come up here just to check out the tone, then we get a measure of it. Perfect. And the one thing that we may actually do is we may actually keep the ranges of motion very similar for each side. But the thing we may actually end up doing is changing the assistance value, if that makes sense. I presume that this is going to be very similar here. We're not going to have any evidence of spasticity. Actually, even moving even more here. So there's if you were to quantify, there's even less tone in the left side than there is in the right side.
Gotcha.
Because we're at a higher range of motion for 10% less assistance here. So that's good. And what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to move us to 50 here. We'll do that quick strength check. So let's see. Okay, from here, so before you were at around 24, 25, 50%. So we are higher up. And so I'd like you to try again, Stanley, go ahead and try to move down as far as you can for me.
Down. Move down. Oh, no. Sorry, he's hitting.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. And that's actually even more range of motion. You got down to 5 or 9 degrees of flexion there. So that's really good. So I'd say there's even more strength in this side as opposed to your right side.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Good. And so the one thing I probably want to do is, so first off, let's look at the prescription here. I think first things first, there are certain activities that I would probably want to go away from. I think some of them are probably too easy for you guys. Because you have a lot of capacity, I think we need to work on those that are going to focus more on endurance and precision motor activities. So I think I'd like to try out some of those new games. But I think in terms of the ranges of motion, in terms of some of the assistance values, so with the left side, we got from 37 degrees to around 10 degrees at 50% assistance. On the right side, we got at 50% assistance, we got from 20 degrees to 7 degrees, so a little bit less. Even though the base level active range of motion is about the same, the right side is as I said, weaker. So we might want to actually reduce the assistance value on the right side.
I see.
And that seems a little bit strange, a little bit counterintuitive, right? Well, if the side is weaker, we wouldn't want more assistance. And well, yes, in normal circumstances, if someone had difficulty moving into those ranges of motion. But for you guys, what we're actually using the assistance for is actually in terms of strength training. And so the thing that we want to do is we actually want to make it less hard to move on the right side. We want you to have that range of motion, and we'll slowly build up that assistance value or the force. So I say that's going to be probably the biggest thing for us to do. And so I think we can do this one of two ways, actually. We can keep the assistance value the same across both of them, and we just shift the ranges of motion. Or we can keep the range of motions high and then slowly bring down the assistance value on the right side. Do you guys have a preference? It's basically comes down to the number of changes you have to make on the actual settings.
Yeah, I think keeping the range of motion is probably better for us because you can hit
Okay.
But yeah, changing the assistance.
Okay, good. So what we'll do then is let's keep the range of motion. So what we'll do here is I'd like us to go, actually, let me try this real quick. Let me come down here, around 20 here, okay. Okay, now let's try to go down as far as you can.
It's getting
perfect. Yep. And try to go up as far as you can go.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to keep the ranges at around 40 to 20. So we're going to increase the range of motion to start with here. But we're also, what we're going to do is on the right side, so we'll keep the ranges of motion the same, minus 20 to 40, okay? But on the left side, we can actually have a bit more.
Give me a second.
It's okay.
I might just have to switch over to here. But,
Can you hear me?
yes.
Okay, so what we're going to do is on these settings, and actually what I'll do is I can send you an email with these data too. We're going to keep it at so 20 degrees of flexion and around 40 degrees of extension. But on the left side, we can put in around 20 or 25% assistance. But on the right side, I think we actually need to have very much, I guess, less assistance. Maybe to 5 to 10% assistance. Okay. And what we'll do is we will slowly increase that force on the right-hand side and hopefully match, and then we'll go up together. Because that's what we're basically using this as strength training at this point, strength and endurance training, as well as, of course, the fine control. So that way we only have to worry about one number. Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I will do then is I will send you a follow-up email to this, as well as I'll make some changes to the prescription for various activity changes, so game changes, that will incorporate ones that are a bit more appropriate, I think, based on your current function.
Sounds good.
Okay. Any other questions? Ooh, excuse me, any questions for me?
So the only thing that we're changing on our end from here is just that setting, or I guess and then that'll all be in the email, just like instructions of how to change that, I assume.
Yep, exactly.
And then there's no way for us to like increase or decrease difficulty of games on the fly, right? We wouldn't really want to do that. It sounds like.
Oh, you can certainly change in terms of the assistance values, that will be something that you will change. But in terms of the games themselves, that's a change that we can make together.
Gotcha. Okay.
But we'll start off slowly. We won't throw all the new games at you at once. We'll throw a couple at you, see how they work, and then we can touch base in a week or so, and then add in some additional ones as you guys progress.
Perfect. Do you have a suggestion for how best to handle switching? Like, is it best to do both in the same day, or should we switch off in different days? Especially with the foot, when we get that, we want to do all of that as well. It seems like
yeah. I think if possible, try to do the day. Now that's contingent on how much fatigue there is. If there's a lot of fatigue, then we might want to parse it out. I'm not sure exactly how you guys are dealing with that. So I would maybe trial it out, like maybe try 30 minutes on right, 30 minutes on left, see how that goes, and then escalate from there.
Okay. So in that case, is there a way for us to kind of, I won't say disable, but other than skipping, I guess, which I guess is the obvious answer, to again, like, when he's on the left versus the right, like there are different exercises that are kind of doable for him. Because he has more strength and endurance in his left hand. Obviously,
so I think that's what we're going to do there is we're going to use the assistance value as the main parameter. I'm suspecting that when we change that value between right and left, you're going to be able to play the same exact games. We're just making it more or less difficult.
I actually mean for his other hand to control the touchscreen.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I will remove those games that require the double hand control.
Well, some of them are good from time to time. We do like that he's like stretching to reach. I guess we can just skip the ones that don't work for that day. I was wondering if there was a way to kind of like do like a quick preset, but I assume not.
Yeah, it's good feedback, and we'll try to work on that. Yeah. Unsure if that's actually workable right now.
Okay, no, that's totally fine. Yeah, we can just skip the ones that don't work. But occasionally, I think he does enjoy being able to tap.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, then if that's the case, then I will not remove those that have two-hand control then. Is that all right? Great. Okay, guys. Well, thanks. This is a good one.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, all right. And like I said, I'll send you a follow-up email with some more information. And if you have any questions or things are behaving a little bit strange the next couple of days, just reach back out to us and we'll get you back on, okay?
Perfect. Great. Thank you so much.
Okay, all right, guys. Bye.
Have a good day.
Thanks for watching this video. If you have questions or would like to speak with me about how you can make functional gains from home, call or text me at 404-939-3476 or visit motusnova.com/contact.